All right. So, okay. So some people have been asking me about the survey. Some people on Reddit wanted to know my results. So here are my results. Basically, I got 439 people, which is a lot actually for a college survey. And I have to thank you, Reddit people, because I think it's like Reddit people probably like 200, 250 of the responses, and the rest is like students that I know, because I basically emailed all the students at my college. So I went in college in Scotland. Is this year program called Arts and Social Science. So anyway, let's go down to the interesting bit, which is the responses. Let's go. Okay. Okay, here we go. So the first question was, did you leave? Did you vote for leave or for breakfast? For breakfast, for Brexit. And as I expected, the majority voted remain, 329. So almost 75% voted remain, and 75 voted leave. So about 17% voted leave. It's about it as I expected. And the second question is, do you regret your vote? And 82%, no, I'm happy with my choice. And only 8% says, I regret the way I voted. And 17 people are indifferent. Okay, next one. If there was a second referendum, how would you vote? Okay, now we're getting more interesting territory. So almost 70% here says I would vote Remain again, which is obviously because if you look at the first one, most of these responders were for some reason Remain voters. And then 11, 12% says I would vote Brexit again, and about the same. Oh, I would change to Remain. So it seems like there would be more, even more people voting Remain if the election was to take place in 2020, according to my small sample survey. This is an interesting question because I assume that a lot of people that voted Remain are the ones that have university degrees, and seems to be a correlation because 63% of people have university degrees and 30% do not. Okay. How did people closest to you vote? This is a very interesting chart right here. So they all mostly voted for Remain was 38%, and they all voted Remain was 34%. So altogether, this is about 70% of people here, all their friends mostly voted Remain, and only about 13% they mostly voted for Brexit, which is really crazy. Yeah, I guess most people just know people that voted for Remain, or maybe it's my survey was maybe skewed, and that most people just saw. Most people that saw the survey are people that voted for Remain. If you were in college, college or university, did professors try to persuade you? If so, in what direction? This was kind of I guess a leading question. I wanted to know if universities have any bias, and 67% said not applicable to me. Okay, not useful, and 26% of those who did go to university, well, I guess they must have been going to university at the time. Okay, that's why. Okay, that's why the number is so low. So 26% say no, but the blue one says only 5% says towards remain, while toward Brexit is is 2 people, so 0.5%. So if we take this small sample size of people that felt that they were persuaded, there's a lot more people that felt that their professors wanted them to vote remain. But then again, this is very um, apparently I didn't have a large sample size of people that were at college or university during that time, and that's to be expected. Okay, so this is this is an uh, open-ended response. So I got all kinds of things, which is kind of what I wanted. So the question is, what was the reason for voting the way it did? So I got almost 400 responses there because it was optional, but most people still um, chose to respond. And the person says, sovereignty, I'm not an idiot. I'm not a stronger part of a larger group, benefit of free trade. I am European, I identify strongly with the EU, so an emotional rather than rational decision. Oh, see there? Interesting, an emotional rather than a rational decision. Common sense. Yeah, I don't know what this person voted for. Common sense, because it either be Brexit or remain. The EU provides lots of benefits to everyone. It makes traveling, living. Okay, this person voted for remain. Less borders, not more. Remain. Don't know much about the EU. I don't know how this person voted. Let's see. The to safeguard the NHS against far right and capitalist ideologues. So this person voted remain, probably. Because I'm not racist or thick. Probably remain. It makes sense. This is a toss-up. Chances are remain. There was no other intelligent option. Convinced by family. Which way? Probably remain. Because as we've seen earlier, most family members of the people surveyed here, most of them voted remain. I want a more connected, unified planet. If I had to guess, remain. Freedom of movement. Yes, a few things may have been looked at. However, it wasn't all about immigration. Right, remain. EU is bad. Ooh, okay. This is a Brexit. Definitely leave. Definitely leave voter here. Okay, this one. Let's see. Avoiding economic disaster, especially of a no deal, which could be catastrophic. Okay, let me just read a couple more. Preserving freedom of movement for myself and EU citizens, for members of my family / community. Okay, this is remain. Brexit will make the country poorer and nastier. Very pessimistic outlook. So this is probably remain. Neither side made a convincing case. Okay. Let's see. Brexit is utter insanity, says one. Staying in the EU is best for Britain. The news made Brexit sound very bad. Now, this might possibly be this is probably a leave voter right here. Huge benefits of being in the EU. Europhil. Yeah, definitely remain. Okay, let's go to the next one because I have so many responses I can't go through all of it. Why do you think the other side voted the way they did? Now, this is a very kind of juicy question. Let's see. Propaganda, ignorance. We pay more than they perceive to get back. Okay, so he's actually trying to understand why the leave voters voted the way they did, which most of these responses are, well, this is, here we see racist, media propaganda, because they thought being out of the EU would be better for the UK or them in some way. Okay. See, some people are trying to understand the other side. The economy, ignorance, xenophobia, fear, fear. They understood how the EU functions. Xenophobia and right-wing propaganda and massive social media manipulation. Okay, we're gonna get to the media later. I'm just gonna read a few more because this is simply too many. Okay, ignorance and racism. Now this person just included both of them. Misinformation regarding benefits of leaving from the better funded and more forceful Leave campaign. Nationalistic and exceptionalist ideas about the UK's world status and the importance that were encouraged and galvanized by right-wing press. Indoctrinated by the Daily Mail and The Sun, EU used as scapegoats for the UK government caused problems. They believe in United Europe. Oh, this is the first one that's from the Leave voter commenting on why they voted Remain, the other ones. Interesting. They believe in a united Europe, and this voter does not. Okay, propaganda, clueless snowflakes. This is by this term, I'd probably guess this person voted to leave. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. This is just too much. Here we go. How does the UK economy benefit from being a part of EU? This one says it supports, so the most popular response, this is a multi-option. Yeah, okay. That's why ignore the percentages. Well, it doesn't add up to 100% because the options were multiple choice. So it supports business and trade, and it benefits us a lot economically, politically, and otherwise. I think was the question was. These are at 74%. And then the second one was enriches our food, our culture and food. This is 63%. And these are the Leave voters. They say it doesn't benefit us as much as we lose, and it hurts us. This is 7 and 3% respectively, and it's about equal, 7%. It's damaging the UK. Okay, this is 10%. So not much. Again, we see not many people that participated in the survey were people that voted for Leave, despite the fact that Brexit is something that that came to pass. Perhaps this is because this was done in Scotland, and a lot of my classmates vote. I'm assuming a lot of classmates voted for Remain because they are SNP as the Scottish National Party is mostly left. So I assume that's how they voted for. I'm not an expert on British politics. It's just this is from what I've learned in my 1 year at school. All right, let's go. Next one, interesting one. If Brexit happens, British economy blank. And the most popular one is will take a nosedive at 52%. And then some people that don't consider themselves expert because they say, I cannot predict this. It's hard to know what will happen at 20%, and about 19% thinks that it will not recover for more than a year. Now, I have to say that this was done during the corona epidemic. So this was but I didn't want to include that as part of the survey because that then it just make it too large. I just focused on the the Brexit referendum. Just wanted to make that clear. Okay, let's go on. Do you agree with the Labour politician Clive Lewis that, quote, part of the Brexit campaign and part of the undertone of Brexit from some politicians like Nigel Farage and others had racism at its core, at its heart? Okay, so here we have totally agreement with that statement. So a lot of people think that the Brexit campaign, the people that voted to leave the European Union are actually racist, that at its core it has racism. It's kind of I don't know if that's true, and it's kind of a sad state of affairs, seems to me. But let's see here. 25% mostly agree. Still, okay. So if we add these up, we get to 80%. Wow. This is includes all of the so this includes all of the leave voters and above. Let's see. Let me see my initial number here. Did you vote? So we got 75%. Okay. We got 75% remain. All right. Let's go back down. Okay, too far. Wow. Did I get lost? Yes, I did get lost. Right, okay. Here we go. And this next one is, do you agree with Nigel Farage, who, when quoting an Australian politician, John Howard, said of Muslims, "You're welcome to come here." So this is an Australian politician basically said about Muslims, "You're welcome to come here and have your children here, but if you come here to take us over, you're not welcome." So I knew this was going to be a divisive question, and look at this pie here. Wow. So 39% completely disagree with John Howard or Nigel Farage, what he's quoting John Howard. And then somewhat disagree is another 13%. So we have about 52% of people. Yeah, this is more than half for sure. 17% indifferent, 11% no opinion, and only 10% agree with agreement or somewhat agree. So that's about 19%. So this is again reflective of the, I guess, skewed nature of, I didn't intentionally skew the survey, but again, this is it was done in Scotland, so about half the votes, I would say about 200 votes, come from Scottish people, maybe a bit less, and then the rest come from probably England, because and maybe some Scottish as well, because depends on who was voting on Reddit. All right, next one is, should the legal, this is just my personal kind of, I wanted to add this in, should the legal voting age be now be 18 or so it said one option was lowered, people should vote at an earlier age. So surprisingly, 49% of people think that people should vote even earlier than 18. Wow. And then another almost half of the people, or the other half, thinks that it is fine the way it is. And only about 3.4% think that it should be raised, that people should vote at a later age. So there you go. People are pretty much split. And I don't think anything will be done to change the voting age, because 18 seems to be generally agreed upon age to vote. At least according to this, nothing's going to change. Anyway, let's go on. Is there a racism problem in UK? I think this was the survey was done just prior to the Black Lives Matters movement. So just to clarify this, and because I I stopped accepting responses about, I would say, mid-June, or maybe before that, beginning of June. So I think Black Lives Matter was something that was they became huge after that, but I'm not quite 100% on that. Don't hold me on that. It's just that I know that I got the majority of the responses like in May, let's say. And yeah, I got the majority of responses in May and early June. Anyway, so 85% say yes, that there is a racism problem in the UK, and only 15% say no. Okay, now on the question of media. Do you think the British media's reporting at the time was accurate and truthful? So about 33% say no, very biased towards Brexit. And wow, this is interesting. So it says very biased towards Brexit and biased towards Brexit. So if I add these together, this is about 65, 66% basically. Wow. 2/3 say that the media was biased for Brexit. Do you think that's true? Do you think the BBC and all the other channels were, and all the other newspapers? Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me see the question. The newspapers and TV channels reporting at the time was accurate and truthful. Right. So I'm including both. I guess a lot of newspapers in UK were pro-Brexit, if I'm reading into this correctly. And let's see the smaller ones. So about 10% says, I don't consult the media for their information, how they're going to vote. Right. But I'm thinking some people still need to get their information from somewhere, whether it be books or otherwise. Anyway, be that as it may, about 9% said no, mostly biased towards Remain. Okay, so, and very biased towards Remain, only 8%. And 7% says yes, the media was fair. Right, let's go on. In your experience, what kind of messages do you see now or hear from the British media about Brexit? Wow, look at this chart. This is pretty split. So this is about now. The previous question was about then, during Brexit referendum, and now it's about now. And says, so we got 23% very pro-Brexit, 27% somewhat pro-Brexit. So we got about 50% here. And then a further 22% say it's about even, and then somewhat pro-Remain. So a lot of people still think that the media is very pro-Brexit. Okay, let's go on. Is there such a thing as fake news? Very popular phrase coined by, popularized by Donald Trump in recent times. And yes, 94%. 94%. Wow, this is even more than I expected. Say yes. And only 4.3% say no. And only 8 people out of 439 are unsure of what fake news is. I'm not sure if they are joking or not. Okay. Well, I have to take him at their word. Some people do not know, let's say. This is a kind of juicy question. If yes, meaning if there is fake news, name news sources you think are fake news. Here we go. Daily Mail. I think any news source can be fake when not held accountable. Okay, this is pretty rational. Not held accountable, right? Daily Mail, The Guardian, BBC. Too many to mention. Oh, we wish you mentioned some. Daily Mail, The Sun, Daily Mail, Sky News, The Sun, all are biased or make mistakes, right? Breitbart. I think this is a US one. Yeah, definitely US. I'm sure you can research this part yourself. Not very helpful. Anybody is capable of it, not least government sources. Daily Fail, Daily Fail. Wow, The Sun. The Daily Mail is not very popular among these people that um, completed the survey. Mail, The Sun, yeah, Daily Mail, right? Anything owned by Murdoch, Daily Kyle, Typograph, Spectators, all the rest of the billionaire class owned rightist media are happy to run lies and misinformation when it suits alongside their real journalism. All what I would call alt-right sources, Breitbart, OANN, Spiked, London Real, etc. London Real, I thought it was a podcast. Anyway, they pretty much run nothing but lies. Wow, that's a handful. The Sun, the Daily Mail, Fox. I imagine this means Fox News, Breitbart. Okay, so I can deduct here. These are probably Remain voters. Remain. Let's see. I think if somebody puts the Guardian or BBC, probably Leave voter. That's my understanding of British politics. If I'm not correct, you can let me know in the comment section. Let's see. Okay, let me get a few more because this is just too fun. Okay, Express, Mail, BBC, Daily. So this is to remind you, this is fake news. So what these people think are fake news. Daily Mail, Daily Express, The Sun, Daily Telegraph, significant parts of Facebook. Sure, this person says social media. Okay, so obviously because I have a lot of Remain voters, the results here are according to that. So the Daily Express, Daily Mail, Sun, Telegram, Mail, and Fox News. Right, okay, we get the picture. Now let's move on. Would you support a second referendum? Wait, let me see if I can. Ooh, these questions are terrible. Seriously, what do you think of the media reporting of Brexit? I think it was a shit show on all sides. Fake news isn't always a specific to a source, though it can be, but these are usually not the mainstream media. Does the mainstream media produce fake news? Yes. Which ones? All of them at one time or another have produced stories which turn out to be false. Usually they ran a story because it fit in with a preconceived narrative. This applies to both left and right-wing media. Okay, I cannot tell which side this person voted on, but very articulated opinion. Let's see. Okay, this seems very personal. Come on, mate, you are in college. Firstly, do you agree with me? Okay, this seems like a personal attack. Let's go on. Or maybe I should read it because of that. Yeah, I'll read it. I'll read it for views. Come on, mate. You are in college. Firstly, the do you agree with Nigel Farage question is worded so to disagree with would mean that you think it's okay for extremists to come over. Yes. Well, this is I could have worded that question better, but I think it was okay. I could be wrong though. Okay. Secondly, there are sources that are quote unquote fake news or propaganda as it was known pre 2016. However, the problem with it run much deeper than for me to name InfoWars or the Daily Mail, etc. Well, he did name two. The problem with he uses brackets fake news is that there is a deep corruption in our media and political system with where snake oil salesman cries to the position of godhead. Fake news that is an extension of active measures and can be pinned down to any one thing, which is the whole point. I don't know if I agree with that. I think fake news, but to me, means news that is not true, deliberately, or to uh, to further an agenda. That is not a honest way to do it, I guess. Anyway, this seems a very emotional response. I think it's probably one of the students that I know. Anyway, I do not know who this is, by the way. It's anonymous, so it's yes. Let's go on. Who do you would you support a second referendum? Okay, so we got 70% yes. So this is because I think majority voted Remain, and they would want to vote again. The majority of people that voted in the survey voted for Remain, so that therefore it makes sense that the majority of them, 70%, would want a second referendum, so they actually get the result they wanted. Kind of makes sense. And 20% says no, and 10% not sure. Are you in favor of a hard Brexit, soft Brexit, or second referendum? Again, similar picture. 60% says second referendum. About, let's see, hard Brexit, only 13%, and a smaller soft Brexit, 12%, and let us postpone it is about 15%. What is your view of immigration in the UK? Okay, it is most, what's the most popular one? Okay. It is most helpful to the UK's economy and culture. It is helpful sometimes. Excessive immigration is bad. We should limit immigration and take only the best. Is only 6%. And then the smallest one, about 2%, is it can be harmful with only 2% votes. 9 votes, I mean. Okay, next one. Do you agree with the leader of the Liberal Democrat, Joan Swinson, who stated that she would prefer a second referendum? Okay. Only 52% agree. Right. So this is a similar question to the previous second referendum. So uh, more than half agree, and mostly agree. That's another 17%. So we're approaching the 75% mark. And only 18% disagree. This is mostly Brexit, I mean, the Leave voters, and the rest either indifferent, mostly disagree, or have no opinion. Do you agree with the statement that Tommy Robinson is fighting for the forgotten people of the UK? I knew this was going to be a controversial question, and so the vast majority disagree. So this correlates with the Remain voters. So virtually all the Remain voters, I would imagine, clicked on disagree here. And then the smaller brackets, the largest is no opinion, and only 17 people agree with it out of 439. 15 people mostly agree, 19 people indifferent, and 27 people mostly disagree. So we get basically people that disagree are about 80%. Yeah. Okay, select all. This is actually my mistake because I was not supposed to. I wanted to just get one option or something, but I mistakenly added another optional bracket. So this is we got everything here. Let's see. Here. I don't like insulting people. So this is basically a question of, can't even see the question. Oh my gosh. This is basically a question though about what do you think about the people, why people voted the way they did, basically kind of similar to the previous one. And can we just get along is 122. Brexit voters are Islamophobic. Brexit voters are racists, 35%. I don't like insulting people. I like that this was the highest at 47%. Then you got these are the optional. I shouldn't have left this open. Brexit people have been programmed by okay. Everyone is prejudiced. Okay. Yeah, this is way too much. All right, let's go on. Do you agree with the statement Muslim immigration is a problem? So in this survey, 47 disagreed, 47%, and another 25% mostly disagreed, which makes it 68% that disagree basically, and indifferent 15%, mostly agree only 6%, agree 4%. That's about 10% people that agree. Yeah, so it's basically 68% versus 10% in favor of people that disagree, basically disagree with the statement that Muslim immigration is a problem. Next one is, do you agree with the idea of multiculturalism, which states that all cultures are equal? Let's see here. So we got about 50% say they agree, and another 24% mostly agree. So this is pretty much coincides with the Remain voters, which is 75%. So this is almost identical. And then we got indifferent 7%, mostly disagree 6%, disagree 8%, and no opinion 4%. Okay, before the referendum in June 2016, did other people, friends, or family try to persuade you? If so, in what direction and how much? Let's see. No, they didn't was 63%. Let's see the biggest one. Yes, mostly for Brexit. Wow. Wow, didn't I? Oh, actually, the biggest one, mostly for Remain. So they're actually comparable. So this is almost 12% of people, their friends and family try to convince them to vote Remain, while on the other hand, we got 10.5% people whose family and friends try to convince them to vote for Brexit. And then we got all for Remain. All of their friends try to convince them for Remain. So actually the pattern here is mostly towards that friends and family try to. So this is 18% of people that were convinced towards Remain, while only towards Brexit only 10%. All for Brexit only 2%. So this would be combined value of 13%. Let's say 13% versus 18. So seems like more friends and family were trying to convince them to vote Remain. I'm guessing this is a lot of people that voted for Leave. A lot of this must be all of this, even though, yeah. Well, I don't know this for sure, but this is a very superficial analysis, by the way. So don't hold me to a higher standard. This is my first actual academic survey. I'm just like reporting results because some people wanted to see results. In your view, did celebrities tend to promote how to vote in the referendum? If so, in what direction and how much? Yes, all for Remain. So celebrities, okay, the biggest was actually, no, I don't follow or care about celebrities. And then an astounding 25% thought that, yes, mostly Remain and all for Remain. So about 30% thought that all celebrities were basically mostly or all for Remain. And no, celebrities did not promote which way to vote, which is about 10%, and only 3% of people thought that celebrities were promoting mostly Brexit. So this is probably the biggest disparity so far. And this is definitely showing that celebrities were favoring Remain, which kind of makes sense because of the celebrities' politics, prevalent politics. I mean, um, in your experience, did religious figures express their views on the referendum before the referendum? If so, in what direction? Okay, I think here we got, I'm not religious, right? I did not expect that, but I should have expected it. And they did not express which way to vote was 25%, and 7% got that to vote Remain from the religious figures, and only 3% got to vote for pro-Brexit. Wow. So it seems like most religions were actually, yeah, because this is 7% versus 3%. So again, it's skewed towards Remain. It's kind of seems very strange, and yet Brexit won, despite celebrities promoting and despite religious figures seemingly promoting more Remain than Brexit. Interesting. Okay. And this is one of the saddest ones. Um, Probably the best question I asked. Have you lost friends or strained friendships over Brexit disagreements? And out of the 439 responses, almost half, so 49.4%, or 217 people said yes. Wow. This is shocking. I did not expect this, but I was curious. I thought maybe I would get 30%, but this is way higher than I thought. And here we have no, about 45% people say no, and not applicable to me. Okay, but still, this is very disconcerting. 50% lost friends or strained friendships because of Brexit disagreements. And also, I saw on Reddit that a lot of people, a lot of Remain voters mostly, because I think, I don't know, I guess mostly Reddit is mostly a Remain platform from what I've seen. And they've said that when they learned that their relatives voted for leave, they would just try to not talk to them anymore, or just keep it brief and kind of have this wall around them, or maybe even resentment, or just stop talking to them. Like some of them had even like severe disagreements, and then they would just stop talking to their relatives or friends. Anyway, I think it's similar to US, the Republican versus Democrat, very similar dynamics. Um, and I don't know what can be done to fix it. It seems just very sad here. And this last one was kind of a throwaway question. Very entertaining responses. So if you had to sum up Brexit in 3 or less words, what would it be? A waste of time were the first two responses. Utter shit show, disaster, a total disaster, shit show. Get it done. Get it done. Obviously a leave voter right here. Fucking shit show. Constitutional crisis. We aren't European. A shit show. A big mess. Wow, a lot of cuss words here. I don't know if I'm so stupidest decision ever. Cry freedom. The ultimate mistake. An unexpected outcome. Colossal mistake. Badly executed mess. A huge mistake. Hurry up. Long, divisive, deceptive. Waste of time, money, resources, focus on a real country problems. Harder than expected. No, what a disaster. Symptom not cause. Bad racist idea. Ill considered. Overrated. A total disaster. Driving into ocean. Necessary. Okay, this is stands out because it's a leave voter. Catastrophic mistake. Great step forward. Great step forward. Okay, definitely a leave voter. A nationalistic dream. Again, a leave voter. British exceptionalism. Probably a leave voter. Rubbish. Monumental self-delusion. Disastrous for UK. British fight back. Again, probably leave voter. I'm not sure. Not needed. Great big mistake. This person says Steve Irwin is a legend. Oh, he is a legend, actually. Madness wrought large. Totally wrong. Absolute disaster. Government needs improvement. Racist. Self-harm. They fucked up. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Wow. Got a couple of trolls here. Wishful nostalgic bollocks. Shambles. Colossal. Historic mistake. An absolute joke. Bollocks. Bollocks. Imbeciles. Awful. Disappointing. Worrisome. I will not try my awful Scottish. A load of bollocks. Independence. Damaging to UK. Get Brexit done. Yeah, okay. So yeah, the last one especially to me was the most revealing. Yeah, because yeah, politics can be so divisive, and if we can just learn to listen to each other, I guess yeah, I need to start with myself as well. So I just, it's hard to do, but there you go. A lot of people lose friends, even family members lost friends, strained friendships. Because I didn't mention family members, but a lot of people on Reddit did mention family members, like losing um, or trying not to talk to some of their close family members because they knew they voted for Brexit. Therefore, they didn't want to talk to them because they simply assumed that racism was the motivation or small-mindedness or something. Now, I'm not saying that's not true, but probably not true in all cases. Can be true. It's just sad. Anyway, I will ramble on too long. There we go. From my kind of skewed survey of most people that voted mostly leave. I try to get more Brexit voters, but this is the best I got. Almost 17%, and the rest is remain 75. So, but here it is. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Ciao.